folks are here. So, before we start, I'd like to check whether the speakers are actually present. So, we would start off, so we have a slight rundown here. Talk number one is about the Hackers Profiling Project. So, there you are. Didn't see you. Thanks. So, and you're ready with your computer? Yep. Do we have his slides there? Yep. Good. Now, number two is about voice over IP insecurity. That was you. Oh, was you? Oh, yes, again, LSU. Those who can read are in the advantage. Number three, war dialing from Julio Sedafort, I guess. That's you. Could I ask you to come on stage and to sit up with us? It's much easier, I guess. And number four will be about new computer game concepts by Peter Krell. Is he here? Okay, I suppose he isn't. So the rule is who isn't present will be skipped and moved last. Then number five is about SMAP and Hendrik. Hendrik, where are you? Please come up stage. Thanks. Thomas is already here. He will be talking about what you have in common with a guinea pig. I'm very interested. So, number seven, that's Dan. There you go. Please come on stage. Number eight is on hacking. Oh, I didn't say what it was all about. He will give not a thing about why is something good and why you should use it, but on the contrary, why you shouldn't be using it. So there's a little rant here. Surprise for you. Number eight is Hacking the Education System by S.J. Klein. So who would that be? The person S.J. Klein? No? Got to take a note there. Do you do that? Okay. And on number nine is about data loss by Fukami. Now he should definitely be about. I don't see him though, so if anyone knows Fukami or is on the IR channel, please have him called up so he'll actually be there on time. Thank you. Now, number 10, the Martis Project. I wish I could have time for looking this up. That's you? Can you please come up stage too? Thanks. And number 11 on the schedule by Benny. Very cool for schools. Benny, are you about? Right in the middle. Would you please step outside and save some time there? Thank you. Good. So one isn't here. One should be here. I guess we're about set for the first talk. Right. So let's give the official introduction there for video and everybody who's watching. Welcome to the 23rd Communication Congress. This is the lightning talks on day 3. We have been scheduled for 11 talks and 9 speakers are already here. So I hope you'll be joining us. Please do make use of the feedback button on the wiki page. And please come talk to us on IRC. That would be on Freenode, irc.freenode.org, and join the channel 23C3 and give us some feedback there. Thank you. Now, oh yes, he's starting here. All right, so video is connected to you. Do you have the slides? Good. Start the slides, and then here we go. Oh yes, Video Angel, could you please turn on the beamer? Fukami, there he is. Please come on stage. Thank you. Good. One more. He's here. Oh, I already see people joining the IRC channel. So there's half of a dozen more. I think now we have about, 417 nicknames on the channel, so somebody please take a log of this. I don't think I can follow it all, but yes, this should be fun. Right, talk number 1 by Alessio on Hackers Profiling Project. Let's do it like this. You can already start talking about it, and hopefully we'll be online with some stuff already. So take it away. Oh, you need two slides. Okay. Yes, well. Anyone here to turn on the projector, maybe? They're on the way. Could they fetch me a sandwich too? Yes, if you're hungry, maybe just have a look on the floor. From yesterday's project, the Hacktivismo guys, they spread out these Gummibärchen, the jelly bean bears, so you might find some. Nice slide. Well done. Also, I think there's a talk page on the Lightning's talk too, as wikis go, right? So you click on the discussion thing and make a note that the projector wasn't on. The wiki is down. Oh yes, by the way. So make a note on the wiki. Yeah, right. Anyway, whoever took down the page. We should have a lightning talk here with him too. We put him on stage, and you get ready. Take some piece of paper, put it together, and be ready. Oh yes, maybe we can actually rearrange the order. Does anyone of you have a talk without slides? Anything? You? So why don't we start off with you? So, come here. Please introduce yourself.
Is mic audition? Hello, everybody. Greetings from Brazil. Well, my English ain't so good, but I'll try my best. I've got paper here. Wait a second. This lecture is about the threat of war dialing.
Wait. I think this one is mostly on
okay.
Now. Better use that one and
the lecture is about the threats of war dialing in 2006. And who doesn't, for those who are not well versed or who doesn't know about this old stuff, what the hell is war dialing? And war dialing is nothing but phone scanning, scanning for numbers. Well, phone scanning is like looking for modems and other telephone equipment on the other line, the other end of the line. And this technique was widely used in the early 80s and late 80s too, the whole 80s decade. And when in 90s, lots of security experts said it was dead and gone. And as I already said, the goal is to scan a range of numbers, maybe your local exchange or even toll-free numbers, to find modems attached to terminals. And of course, it's not as popular as buffer overflows and web attacks nowadays, but I think it deserves a good look. So back in 1996, a guy in California called Peter Shipley, he started a project like something like the rebirth of war dialing. For 2 years, he scanned lots of numbers, 2 years, and he got amazing results, showing even that some parts of the critical infrastructure could be compromised by this technique. He showed an example where he could control a power management station using a very old modem. And so what have I done this past month? First of all, I've dusted off my modem and downloaded the Tunlock by Minor Threat and mucho más. But I could have used the THC scan, a German one. And then I started scanning. And I have scanned toll-free numbers and common numbers too for like 6 months in Brazil. And I have found lots of interesting things. Ranging for ordinary stuff, ordinary computers, to infrastructure, telephonic infrastructure stuff. And I found lots of routers. I cannot, I don't know how to pronounce it well, and lots of them misconfigured. And well, I found phone switches, and one phone switch seemed to control toll-free lines in a whole state in Brazil. It's a very big state. And like lots of PPP sessions that connect you directly without into internet without prompting for passwords. Well, I found a computer attached to a internal network of a state-run lottery. Who wants to be a millionaire? Thanks. For example, you've got a very well secured web server. Your internet infrastructure is very secure. You have firewalls, but you let an intruder walk into your network using a very old modem. Shame on you, boy. Well, now about the future trends of war dialing. How much time do I have? Okay. As everyone can notice, voice over IP use is increasing in the world. So nostalgic hackers have developed softwares like iWar to perform phone scanning using VoIP. And there is a project called Skype Diver that uses Skype APIs to perform phone scanning, to perform word dialing using Skype. And it's good because you won't have to pay so much money I had to pay to scan. And trust me, word dialing can be still a threat in large corporate environments, even 20 and 25 years before the technique started to be used. Thank you very much, and that's over.
Yes, thanks a lot, Julio, for this really stand-up talk. Really, that was really nice. Now, we should be visible by now, but can you do resync or something? Right, so anyone else without slides? Video Angels. Mit dem anderen. Entweder das. Wir können doch mit dem eigenen, ja. Das kann doch, wenn es funktioniert, dann ist es frei. Das Problem ist nur, wir hätten es gerne vorher getestet mit euch allen. Wäre gut gewesen, wenn ihr alle da gewesen wärt. Wir können gerne mal ranhalten, aber wir können es nur nicht gleichzeitig machen. Right. Should I mention that for lightning talks, it does pay off to have a talk prepared without slides. So I think there was someone in this room who had a talk. How about Niels? Is he still here? No, Niels Magnus. He went away. There he is. Please give a warm welcome for Niels Magnus from Linux Tag. Thank you. Well, you may have heard of the event Linux Tag. Anyone who has been here before to Linux Tag? Please raise a hand. Lots of them. So you may know Magnus Niels.
Oh my God! I could talk about like hours about Linux Tag and free software and open source and promoting the whole stuff. But I have no idea who actually filed myself for this lightning talk. I have no idea.
By the way, can you hear him? I don't think so.
I'm completely unprepared, so I don't know what.
Take it away.
What are you interested into?
Can you test on your?
Well, hardware is evil. Hardware is evil. I think everything should be done in software anyway. So hardware is very prone to failure, and well, I actually considered attending one of these RFID talks, but there's so much undigital stuff connected with that, so I don't like that.
Niels.
Yeah. Very nice, and a special warm applause to Kurt Gramlich, to Kurt, who actually set me on this list for this lightning talk. I have no idea why. Can we go on, Sven?
Niels, let's do it right. So you're from LinuxTag, and I hear LinuxTag has been moving around a lot. So where will it take place next year in 2007? Please tell us.
Okay, I just returned from the Berlin Convention Center, the ICC, at the Funkturm, and I can announce here that next LinuxTag will move to Berlin. Actually,
Berlin.
Next LinuxTag will take place from May 30th up to May 2nd, June 2nd, 4 days on the end of next May. So you all are obviously welcome. We are going to start and open the call for papers some days soon, most probably in mid of January. So over New Year's Eve, think about some interesting talks and topics, and send us some suggestions. See you all in May at LinuxTag. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lo. Just one more question, Neil. So there's probably a lot of people who would like to get involved with the LinuxTag. So how should they contact you? Where can they find you, and what's your phone number?
Phone number, I forgot about that. It's easiest to send an email to the LinuxTag organizing team, the core team, or just send an email to the info email address. We are quite easily to find at www.linuxtag.org. So that is quite easy. At the moment, there's still the last year's website on, but that will change in the next days also.
All right.
Any more questions, Mr. Guckes?
No, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So, now rescheduled. The first talk for today is Alessio's talk, and please take it away. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Mayem. I'm from Italy. I'm a part of the core team of a project. One of the founder, Raul, is not here and send his greetings. Elisa is scared by you all, and so is sitting here in the first row. The idea was about understand what are the threats, the problems, and people outside there. In Italy, but we see in all the world, people talks about hackers, talk about criminals, talks about a lot of things, but don't know what they are talking about. And often, all this research are made by people near to police. I don't like to talk with police about my things. So the idea is about an independent project studying what we need to afford every day in managing our IT infrastructure, because problem is the worst every day. Windows of the exposure is decreasing, and normal criminal is often searching help of people skilled with technology, and also our infrastructure, think to hospitals, phones, and so on, managed by computers. So someone wrong can be a huge risk. And all analyses are often wrong. So what is the goals of our project? Understand who is outside there or inside here, which threats we need to afford, because not everyone have the same skills or technique or motivation. Also, all analyses are made by criminologists or only psychologists. Our team is composed by people with some skill in technology, with criminologists, with psychology, so to analyze the situation from every point of view. The project is quite new. Since today, since some months, we started with an online version of a questionnaire to be compiled by everyone. You are not a computer user, but you think you are a chemical hacker, don't mind. Compile the questionnaire. In these months we have 3,000 questionnaires in 5 different languages, and in January we'll exit in Italy the first book about the project. With the results of the questionnaire, we are trying with criminologists and psychologists to create some models to understand who is in the front of me, who is attacking me or trying to play with my infrastructure, and to apply these models to the real life through the cross of this data with data of Oninet, for example. ECOS Profiling Project is a project of ISECOM, so everything will be released under FDL, because we think it has to be accessible. Many ideas arrived working on the project, so we don't exclude will arrive new idea. So please help us connect to this. This is one of our mirrors. Another mirror is by Phenolith. Another one is by Hack in the Box in Malaysia. And so on. You will find on this site every information and slide longer than this. Talk about the project with your friends. If you have any feedback, give us. Thank you about this. If some of you have any question, will find me at the bar. The slides are under Creative Commons. No? Thank you. Dove trovo l'altro?
Yes, thank you very much for that one. As you can all see, there's another lightning talk here by Alessio. It's about voice over IP in security.
Well, then I go away. I'm trying to work with a lot of no-profit organizations to do something useful. And one argument I believe very important is about VoIP security, because there is a lot of error of valuation when talking about telephony. People, since nowadays, think traditional telephony is secure. It uses proprietary protocols. It is disconnected from everything. Since some years, Captain Crunch demonstrates this is not true. But nowadays, infrastructure are interconnected, protocols became open, so the risks are worse. And we are not talking about future. Some months ago in Miami, Andrew was arrested because he hacked into a telco, some telco routers, and start resell VoIP traffic. He buy a Mercedes, some yacht, and so on. Then FBI arrived. In Greece, Vodafone put a lawful interception system for police. Then local criminals used that system to intercept Jews, lawyers, journalists, and so on for months. So risks are real. We have a lot of tools to test or attack a VoIP infrastructure. VoIP is an IP network. A phone uses all these, I've lost this, all these protocols. I think any one of you know these are subject to a lot of attacks. So you can use tools existing since some years to attack this protocol. But there are a lot of new tools specialized in VoIP. So you can deeply test your network to understand if you're safe. And you know from what you need to defend. For example, Oreca is a project that sniff traffic, save it in a TCP dump format, convert it in a WAV file, so you can listen, but you register a lot of phones, so store it in a MySQL DB, and by web you can search the database and so on. I don't know how to pronounce that, that name. It's a fuzzer. Oh? Oh. It's a fuzzer. It's really new and is still very powerful. No phone tested with this tool exists. They talked about this at NoConnect some months ago. It was wonderful. And so traditional tools we use have his counterpart specialized in VoIP. And I can talk about this for hours. These are only open source tools. Then there are commercial tools. Okay, we are fucked up? No. There are some methods we can implement to defend ourselves. First of all, risk analysis is fundamental. Using different VLAN for data traffic and voice traffic, quality of service to avoid the denial of service attack. As every server put a lot of attention in implementing and designing authentication, authorization and accounting infrastructure. Use cryptography, not only for VoIP, but for everything, and so on. There is a little webography where you can read better and deeper these arguments. Thank you.
No interruption was needed, so right on time. Thank you for that. Yeah. And I hope we can get back on track as it was scheduled. So does Peter Krell happen to be here now? Yeah. Oh, that's you? Okay, so I would like to ask you to get attached to the one over there. Actually, it seems just to be the cable. So this one over there seems to work. Easy enough. So I think due to the slight problems here, hopefully you would understand that we would take 5 more minutes from the next break. If you disagree with this, I would do another break at the very time so people can leave and come in again for a minute. But I'd like to have almost all the talks here, as the speakers now are already present. Maybe I should tell you again, so talk to us on IRC, that's ircfreenode.org, and join the channel 23C3. Current count on the channel is 437 nicknames. And I would also like to encourage you all to give a lightning talk. I think there's still some slots left for tomorrow. Like for you, you would do that? Good. We would like to see more of lightning talks on other events, so maybe we can set that up if you have another event, like the recent things have come up like Barcamp. So look out for Barcamp meetings in your town. Right, we are ready for the next talk.
Okay, yes, my name is Peter Krell. I'm from GameFace magazine, which is a German platform for computer game development in Berlin. And I've arrived here to talk to you about new ideas of how to basically generate games, and maybe also try to include new visualization technologies in the Linux movement, maybe, and also by having new ideas of how we might bring the industry to another level altogether. So this is our website. We are featuring several points of discussion in this format. We're having also a video stream, sort of, which is like a format for basically talking about what's happening in the industry. I will just let this visual run while I talk. So the first thing I want to mention is that we are, when we're dealing in Germany, when we're dealing with computer game development and related topics, this is always like a political sort of activity, and this is due to many reasons, also because Germany has fallen back in developing content for many years, so we are basically highly adaptive towards cultural standards being implemented on us by American culture, and therefore there's like a huge amount also of shooting games these days. Maybe this is just one reason why there's like a war, and we need to be prepared to basically go to war somehow. So there's some sort of mobilization process, I would suspect, which is triggering all these commercially driven shooter game concepts. And I would therefore also ask the question why the Linux hacker community does stop to basically hack a hardware, games hardware, when the Linux OS does run on the console. Like for instance, we've seen yesterday the PlayStation 3, and the hackers being involved with that, trying to hack the hardware. They said, "Oh, great job, Sony. Now we have our Linux running on the machine, so let's stop. Let's not hack the 3D port. Let's not be able to run our own games on this kind of hardware," which I think would be also really appreciable if there would be more efforts within that direction, and not only just to basically promote the hacking of commercial proprietary hardware, but also to, on the sideline, try to think about developing some concepts within the hacker community to bring across the point that we guys here are dealing with, which is like RFID, for instance, biometrics, all these buzzing topics we are involved with here currently at the conference. And I think, these ideas, and there are many messages attached to these ideas, could be really as implemented into new video game concepts, which might then be put on hardware, like for instance PlayStation 3 and other platforms, online web games, online, all sorts of activity going on in the creative field. And I like to stimulate this particular ambition, and we would like to give hackers who would like to engage with this process a platform in our magazine, so they could basically promote ideas in that realm in order to get a ball going. So I think in those terms there are possibilities to maybe try to think of what has been achieved so far. You know, in the Linux game community, there are like already many cool projects, and I think there could be like a huge variety of more projects, because what we've seen basically also when we're saying, okay, this is a cool application, then we've seen just another shooter game which was used to be running on Microsoft proprietary software, and then we've taken it to Linux. But I think this is not where we should try to start. Thank you.
Entschuldige, du hast noch eine halbe Minute gehabt. You already had half a minute, so please. Okay, where can we find you? How can we contact you?
Yes, like I told you, we have a magazine print in circulation, and then also we're trying to get contact with the TV stations and so on and so forth. Because I do believe that with a Linux game, for instance, there is also a market, you know, because we're dealing with new visualizations in the realms of, for instance, TV, and you know, there's ways to include like other NGOs, for instance, with their content. And how can you contact us? We have a contact formula here, and then so thank you again, and yeah, I hope to hear from some guys soon.
Yeah. Thank you very much again. Danke. Right, next on our list is Hendrik Scholz. And let's see whether his PDF will work. Looks good. So here we go.
Okay, that looks kind of good. Okay, I'm going to talk about SMAP. You might know the tool Nmap, and SMAP pretty much is just a clone specialized for voice over IP applications. Oh, that sucks. So first of all, on a daily basis, I'm setting up voice over IP devices, running infrastructure, doing all sorts of debugging, and such a tool just comes in handy. What is it? It's Nmap for zip devices, as I said, and you can just shoot out zip messages and receive an answer or not, and that's about it. So what can you use it for? You can scan for hosts, for single hosts, and like see, okay, is that IP address running a voice over IP device? Or you can scan whole networks, and you can then, like on Nmap, you can fingerprint the device. Like, okay, what kind of zip device is it? Is it running Asterisk? Is this a PSTN device? Is it like a Fritzbox or whatnot? It does crash from time to time, but it's supposed to be easy to extend, and whenever a new zip standard comes up, you can just start another test just to like distinguish between an old version of the AVM Fritzbox DSL router thingy or a new version, and it really works pretty good since there's so many new standards coming out that like on a weekly basis you can make extensions and narrow down the firmware version just down to a couple of releases or a couple of days actually. Okay. So what it does is it sends out different requests. Options request, just a broken request with the unknown method, and you just expect some sort of error if it speaks zip. And depending on the type of error, like, okay, I don't understand that, or 404 not found, or whatever formatting error you get, you can figure out, okay, I know in a lab environment that device would respond with the 404, and if it does it, it might be that device in the wild in the network. By default, it uses UDP, but I've extended it to use TCP, and TLS kind of works right now. There's just so few devices out that they actually use TLS that it's probably not worth doing any work on that, since there's just like 2 or 3 PSTN gateways and SNOM phones. So how does it look like? You just pass a single host name, IP address, or just a complete network, and we'll just start shooting out packets, and within like a minute, you can see you have 150 detected voice over IP devices. To speed this up, you just don't have to search the whole internet. You can just look, okay, which ISPs are actually offering voice over IP? And like Freenet that I'm working for, or 1&1 Internet, and all the ISPs, they are selling the very same DSL routers, and they are running all the voice over IP devices on the DSL connections. So once you figure out who's running or which IP addresses are assigned to those ISPs, you just start scanning those networks, And as you can see, that's a standard network that I tried. You've got a hit ratio of 60%. And if you're going to ISPs that are specialized in voice over IP stuff for the DSL lines, you can get hit ratios up to like 90%. So you send out 10 messages, and 9 of the IP addresses you scanned actually have voice over IP running. So if you want to do further attacks, this seems to be the fastest way to actually find devices. Then you can do fingerprinting, like, okay, you figured out one of the IP addresses, and you want to know what's running on that box. And it does some sort of tests, and it uses banner grabbing and stuff, and in a nutshell, it just comes up with, okay, that's an AVM type of box, or it's Asterisk running version 1.2. whatever, or it's a Cisco gateway. So you also have a learning mode, so what it does is just sends out all the requests, and depending on the type of answer, like I said, much like Nmap does, it just builds a fingerprint and compares the actual fingerprint of the device against the database and then says, okay, that seems to be a Fritzbox. And as you can see, you really can narrow it down based on the headers to actually say, okay, it's a new 7170 box, and it's not an old one or whatnot. Okay, for the most interesting part, you can just fingerprint or locate devices that are not behind a net. But then, if you're behind a net, if you're, for instance, using Freenet or 1&1 or whatever DSL ISP, and you're using voice over IP behind that, you have some insights on how voice over IP works for that ISP. So you, for instance, know what the outgoing zip proxy for that ISP would be. So the DSL router might let packets in from that ISP's voice over IP gateway. So you just forge a packet saying, okay, this packet is coming from the ISP's zip proxy, and it's allowed in through the DSL router to the voice over IP device. But on the zip-based layer, you just add routing information that says, okay, please forward the packet back to the attacker instead of the ISP zip proxy. So that way you can get through net, since for the outgoing packet, the DSL router would just open up a state table entry, and you can get through the net even though you're not allowed to get through it. And you can actually fingerprint devices behind a net. So in a nutshell, yeah, it's just available on my website. I'm going to put up an SVN repository. You can start hacking on that. And it's already packaged as part of some distributions, Grimmel and stuff. And I just need more fingerprints. I have like 40 fingerprints for devices in there. And if you have some exotic devices, just get me the IP address or come up to me with the device. And I'd like to have a look at that. And if you're into TLS, you might just help me. TLS freaks me out. Okay, thanks a lot.
Dan? Where's Dan? Oh no, Thomas. Thomas, du bist dran. Ja, genau. Okay, while we're setting up for the next talk, this will be about the following question. What do you have in common with a guinea pig? So I have no idea what this is all about, but it poses a very interesting question. Again, if you want to join IRC, freenode.org on channel 23C3, please make use of the wiki to give some feedback, and yes, we should point out where to meet people after the talks. It would be nice to have an extra room for that, so I could just point them to you. But I guess the best place to meet these guys after the talks would be in the lounge. So please remember their faces and search for them. And if they have a DECT phone, we should actually mention that. So next time for the lightning talks, we will have an indication whether they will have a PDF and link from that. And if they have a DECT phone, we will also take a note of that. Yes, the next thing isn't slides with PDF, it's just plain text. And Thomas, what is this all about?
Okay. Hello, my name is Thomas Waldmann. And the main talk will be in German language because it's not a computer topic and my vocabulary is better in German there. It's no problem for the English speakers. The slides are in English, as you see. So the main points are also in the slides. Okay, this is a bit a strange thing. It's about some research I did on the internet, and it's about what problem you have in common with a Guinea pig, or in German, was du gemeinsam mit einem Meerschweinchen hast. Hört sich jetzt etwas komisch an, also damit ist nicht gemeint, dass wir jetzt alle irgendwie Versuchstiere sind oder sowas, sondern es ist wirklich eine biologische Gemeinsamkeit. Genauso könnte man auch fragen, wodurch unterscheiden wir eigentlich uns von anderen Tieren? Okay. Erstmal ein Disclaimer, also ich bin weder Arzt noch Biochemiker oder sowas, ich bin Informatiker. Also das Ganze mit Vorsicht genießen, aber ihr könnt ja auch selber ein bisschen nachforschen. Das habe ich auch gemacht. Das ganze Zeug gibt es auf dem Internet und da haben sich also einige entsprechende Leute auch schon damit befasst, die da ihr Fachgebiet haben. Okay, es geht um Vitamin C bzw. Ascorbinsäure, könnte man vielleicht auch eher dazu sagen. Ein paar Sachen sind da eigentlich allgemein bekannt. Also wenn man gar nichts von diesem zu sich nimmt, das haben früher mal die Seefahrer ausprobiert, so im 18. Jahrhundert bei ihren Amerika-Expeditionen. Ja gut, nach ein paar Monaten stirbt man dann halt einfach. Und wobei einfach ist vielleicht der falsche Ausdruck, also das ist ein ziemlich langsamer und qualvoller Tod, also da fallen einem erst die Zähne raus und man blutet halt überall, also das ist nicht so arg spaßig. Das lag einfach daran, die hatten nur irgendwelches gepökeltes Zeug dabei und halt kein Obst und nichts und haben halt deshalb da nichts davon abgekriegt. Als man das dann gelernt hatte, da gab es dann auch Empfehlungen, also die letzte Empfehlung jetzt, die für die Neuzeit gilt, zum Beispiel Deutschland, da wird also empfohlen, doch bitte 100 Milligramm Vitamin C bitte pro Tag zu sich zu nehmen. Und gleichzeitig wird auch gesagt, keine Panik, eine gute Ernährung beinhaltet es. Also ihr braucht gar nichts machen, beruhigt euch. Ja. So, das Problem ist, die gute Ernährung, die wird dort auch spezifiziert. Das bedeutet 5-mal täglich Obst und Gemüse. Jetzt könnt ihr ja mal nachrechnen, wie oft täglich ihr Obst und Gemüse esst. Also ich denke mal einmal vielleicht oder zweimal, aber das war es dann wahrscheinlich bei den meisten Leuten. Und dann wird praktisch gesagt, okay, wer sich gut ernährt, siehe Spezifikation, der hat dann eine normale Gesundheit. Ja. Und was normale Gesundheit ist, das sehen wir in unserem Gesundheitssystem. Ja. Kostet viele, viele Milliarden jedes Jahr und wird eigentlich immer teurer. Also das ist so das, was als normal definiert wird. Ja gut, und normale Gesundheit bedeutet dann halt auch, dass nach 75 Jahren so im Schnitt halt ein Ende ist und dass man halt so mehrfach im Jahr irgendwelche Krankheiten hat, so Erkältungen und sonstige Infektionen und mit steigendem Alter werden das auch mehr dann chronische Krankheiten, also Herz-Kreislauf und vielleicht auch Krebs irgendwann oder so. Also das ist das, was normal ist quasi. Okay, jetzt noch ein paar Sachen, die vielleicht nicht ganz so bekannt sind. Warum brauchen wir überhaupt Ascorbinsäure? Das liegt ganz einfach daran, jeder Mensch oder fast jeder hat einen Gendefekt. Da ist ein Gen kaputt und die normale Synthese, was also die meisten anderen Tiere machen im Körper, die funktioniert halt bei den Menschen nicht, weil dieses eine Gen kaputt ist. Das ist das sogenannte GULO-Gen, also kann man auch gut als Suchbegriff auf Google nehmen. Ups. Und das ist einfach kaputt. Okay, ich werde vielleicht noch ein paar Zahlen machen, dass das Ganze nicht so frei im Raum steht. Hier zum Beispiel, das ist das Meerschweinchen und der Mensch. Das sieht man ganz gut. Der Mensch hat also Milligramm pro Kilogramm und Tag ungefähr 1. Die Empfehlung für Meerschweinchen, die ist schon bei 10. Wobei man muss dazu sagen, die Empfehlung kommt auch von Menschen. Und jetzt noch der viel interessantere Wert, die Ziege, das ist ein Viech, das hat das Problem nicht, das hat also noch alle Gene, die richtig funktionieren. Und diesen Wert muss man sich mal auf der Zunge zergehen lassen. Das produziert also 13 Gramm am Tag im Körper. Ich habe es mal umgerechnet, also da wo vorher beim Mensch 1 stand, ist bei der Ziege 400. Und Und wenn das Viech krank ist, dann geht der Wert auf 3000 hoch. Okay, da die Zeit schon rum ist, schneller als gedacht, vielleicht noch ein paar lustige Zitate. Einer hat mal gesagt, okay, 60 Milligramm Vitamin C ist genug für eine Küchenschabe. Zwei Vitamin C-Forscher haben mal gesagt, RDA, also heißt eigentlich Recommended Daily Allowance, also die gewünschte tägliche Dosis, ist eigentlich Ridiculous Daily Allowance, also lächerlich. Okay, ich muss zum Schluss kommen, vielleicht nur noch ein Tipp. Ich habe das alles nicht selber erfunden, lest es einfach dort nach. Das ist auf Englisch, hat auch viele, viele Links und Papers und so. Bitte diese dummen Werbeeinblendungen dort ignorieren. Also die machen auch ein bisschen Eigenwerbung, verkaufen auch so Zeug. Aber das haben die nicht immer gemacht, das ist nur so neu. Also einfach mal die Papers, die wissenschaftlichen lesen. Okay, danke.
So, for those who couldn't read this online, so that's vitamincfoundation.org. Take a look at it, and remember, you all are just guinea pigs. Okay, next on our schedule is a talk by Dan Levin. He has at least 2 years of experience with a database called 4D, and he will tell us some of its features. Oh, there's somebody fell off his chair? Give him some vitamin C. I hope that mate contains vitamin C, because that I get 5 times a day, right? Is this event sponsored by the company that produces mate? It should be, right? So, Dan.
Hallo, ich heiße Dan. No, wait, I'll do this in English. All right, whatever. I'm just going to go really fast because I think we're running behind time. So, start. All right. Hi, I'm Dan. I guess I just said that. I'm going to give a constructive criticism talk on 4D. So, what is 4D? 4D is a graphical database plus development system. And it consists of a database engine, programming language, a compiler, runtime environment, and GUI toolkit. And it's sold both as a server client license and a standalone. And it makes me want to cry. And, that's interesting. Quick disclaimer, I'm not an expert. I may not even know what the hell I'm talking about. Therefore, if you work for 4D, please don't beat me up. Can you guys read this, or should I take a second and try to make it bigger? Okay. Bigger, okay. Okay, a little better. Yeah, okay, I'm wasting time. And of course, I'm just whining, so please forgive me. That's my disclaimer. Okay, next. What the heck is going on? Yes! Okay. I'm just going to go back.
Just a small reminder for the speakers tomorrow. Please be here on time. Please, if you can, be here at 3 o'clock so we can test all this a little more. And yes, testing is good.
Backwards compatibility. Okay, I thought that was kind of clever. This is kind of like the whole point of my thing with 4D. It breaks really, really easily from release to release. Like they change their APIs and pull things out and don't tell you about it. And so this was like the guy that I was working with. He said, I just thought I'd let you know that 4D 2004 completely destroyed the method I used for handling the modification of inventory records. Now when I lock a record, after having opened blah, 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 the whole thing becomes broken. So this is more consistent, but it breaks the way it behaved for the last 15 years. Oh, super. Next. Help. Okay, number 9. There's a proprietary source file format, which means all of the source code and data, like the structure of the database, are kind of smushed together into this format that you can't grep, you can't diff it, you can't extract the code. It's kind of like all smushed together, which means you have, I'm destroying the anticipation, no real version control, which makes simultaneous collaboration tough. Can I swear here? I guess. Tough as crap. Also, code can be hidden away and bound to little buttons and crap, and I hope I don't get sued. Thousands of scattered little snippets of code get hidden away, and so if you want to change like something across the entire user interface, you sort of have to go through and do lots of little clicks and crap. All right, going faster. This is my next complaint, graphical database representation. Okay, this is nothing new, but the problem is you can't zoom in or out of the graphical representation. So if you have a really big database, you can't visualize it. And just to give you an example, we used like 3 30-inch cinema displays, and we still couldn't visualize our system all at the same time. So that was kind of fun. If anybody from 4D, does anybody here use 4D, just out of curiosity? Has anybody heard of 4D? Okay, cool. Well, wait, you guys heard of it because I told you. Okay. Subtables. This is kind of a cool feature. You can put records into these things, but you can't really get them out. And what happens is basically put records in, they get bound to their parent table, and if you want to do queries over subtables, you have to like look up every single table. So if you have 1 million parent records, 10,000 sub-parent records or sub-records, it means you have to do like 100 times the work to look up your stuff. It's not too good. So subtables, you're invited to shoot yourself in the foot. The program. I'm just going to skip the programming language. All right, numbers 4, 3, and 2. I got really depressed thinking about it, so I just kind of put that picture there. Number 1. Okay, this is my number 1 kind of complaint, and it's also what the bleep. If the client connects to the server from the same machine, all right, and you just do localhost, TCP/IP connection, the performance is degraded to the point that the database becomes unusable. Now, you would maybe want to do this if you wanted to minimize like network latency and bandwidth problems, but if you don't go over the network, it gets slower for some reason. And I talked to 4D engineers about the problem, but they told me there's no explanation and they're aware of it and so forth. And finally, all right, this isn't going to work, but this is the biggest ever. I'm running a database and I have a mismatch of record types, so there's a field that maybe isn't the right type, a date in place of an integer or something. And all of a sudden, it throws an exception and it turns the Apple logo purple, and it just crashes the whole database. So I don't know what the heck could happen in a database that would turn the logo purple. But there's something going on there. Okay, and then finally, in conclusion, my name is Dan. I don't know if I really want to be contacted about this, and in fact, I just kind of rather put it all behind me. So, thank you. Hope you had fun. Please don't sue me if you're 4D.
Yes, we were actually over time. I didn't ring the bell on time, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway. And so this is about the official end. It's just 1 minute before 17 hours, but we will go on. So if you have to have your break, if you have to get a mate, I will give you 1 minute to change, and then we continue, all right? Fine with you, hopefully? Okay. We will go on in just a minute. Just give these guys a break. Okay, wir sind jetzt hier. Du bist dran, ne? Ja. Okay, kannst du dein Ding schon nehmen, dich da hinstellen, klicken? Okay. We will get set up for the next talk.
Wir haben ja eigentlich...
Na, wir haben noch 3.
Aber wir haben noch 3. Ist eigentlich zu viel. 10 ist immer der...
Ne, wir haben 1, 2, 3, 4. Aber ja, Annie war da.
10 pro Tag und nicht 11. Da hat sich jemand 11 getan.
Ja, ist aber so. Wenn wir es schaffen, ist gut. Ja, siehst du. Let's do it right now. Musst dich eintragen. Ich werde es nicht eintragen. Musst du selber machen. Im Wiki eintragen. Bitte, ja.
Das wird die nächste Stunde dauern, weil der Rechner gewechselt wird.
Das ein, yeah. I think it's actually not going to work out anymore because we would have to change over. We have a 15 minutes break for change. So unfortunately, well, we could do one more. Do you want one more lightning talk? So yes, okay. So it seems to be fairly. We will set up. Again, would you please just move over to this very side? Please stand up one more time. Move over because for the next talks, that will be helpful. Thank you. Bist du soweit? Ja, diesen einen und dann muss gewechselt werden. Sorry, Mann. Wir machen noch vorne.
Hello, hello.
Vorne dran.
So,
okay.
While I'm getting set up, I'm going to be talking about this laptop, and I just want to pass it around the room. Yet since I have 5 minutes, that's about 300 seconds. You each have 1 second just to pass it on. If you can literally pass it down the row and all the way around, anyone who wants to look at it in more detail can come upstairs after the talk.
Time's up.
Just literally just pass it down.
Just touch it.
Touch. So if you didn't get it, so this very nice $100 computer is just being passed around, and this is your chance to touch it. You haven't been to this Congress if you haven't touched it.
Did you touch it at the Congress?
I know. So, right. Last lightning talk for today.
Okay, hello everyone, I'm S.J. Klein, and I work for One Laptop Per Child. I work mainly on content and the content platforms, but I'm going to give you a very, very quick overview of where the project started, where it is, and how it can be used to hack education. So the idea is laptops for basic education. That's a picture from Senegal in the early 1980s. One Laptop Per Child is a non-profit association. Its mission is to develop a low-cost tool that can revolutionize how the world's children learn. The main target is the 1.5 billion children in the developing world. Everyone always wants to know when it's coming to their school. The answer is very soon, but there are 1.5 billion children ahead of you. The basic idea is OLPC is a non-profit entity with funding to support non-recurring costs, and the recurring costs will eventually be borne by the communities where the laptops are. It's for tools for education, to let children take home with them, to let them use seamlessly in the rest of their lives. Emphasis is on hackability of every level of the system. I'll get to that in a minute. Scale in every part of deployment and design. Low power, robustness. Target is on the rural developing world because if you can really manage the temperatures and the lack of power in the most rural places, then you can manage the urban cities, no problem. Launch next year is going to be 5 to 10 million laptops as a pilot study, after which, if it's successful, you can move on to the rest of those children. In 2008, there are a number of smaller countries lined up for perhaps 50 to 150 million laptops. The first partners are 5 large, diverse countries. Partners supporting the project include some of these. All of these people are providing funding or in-kind support, and often support in countries throughout the world. The UN and the Inter-American Development Bank have been extremely helpful in dealing with some of the political issues. Some of you may have seen the first prototypes that were rolled out in Tunis in 2005. There's Kofi Annan, then Secretary General. He managed to break off the crank, but the laptop was very graceful, and he really loved the project. He's still rather in love. Here's what the very first prototypes looked like, digitized. Those children are real, but it's not a real image. Here are basic specs for the machine. It's an AMD x86, 128 megs of DRAM, 512 megs of flash, no moving parts, no hard disk, no fan, less than 2 watts nominal average power when it's used, can be human powered by a crank or a pull cord, 3 USB ports, actually 4, but one's internal, sound, Wi-Fi, and mesh, and a tri-mode display I'll get to in a minute with a video camera. That was sort of a surprise. Here are the cost breakdowns from 2005. For most laptops, half of it goes to sales and marketing. I don't think we have any sales and marketing. There's the dual mode display is really exciting, and you'll have to come and see it in daylight tomorrow if you want to check it out. But it can run at about 0.3 watts when the backlight is turned off, and it's just running on reflective mode. One of the models with a latch, if you try to open this one, you'll know why that's important. This is what the really awesome no-geared pull cord design looks like. This is the current design being passed around. So here are our first launch countries. This is the map of the world. Countries in red have all expressed serious interest.
Last minute, please.
Yeah, thanks. So the question is, why do children in developing nations need laptops? Well, they're a window and a tool into the world and into how they think. Children love laptops. When they know that they own the machine, they hold on to it for dear life and they protect it. How do you design a laptop? Make it safe, robust, make it light, vibrant, make it attractive, make it something that lets them engage in open-ended discussion, and of course, very inexpensive. The idea is for them to share learning through networking, to make their own education tools, to figure out what they need to learn and how they can hack through one another. We're having a proposal contest running through tomorrow. There's going to be a workshop at 11. If you have great ideas about how you'd use laptops for education, hacking, bootstrapping, developing beauty or art, you can come by. I'm hanging out upstairs on the 2nd floor next to the Wikipedia table, or you can email me anytime. And if you want to just test out the laptops, I'd be glad to give you a test spin. Alan Kay likes to say, technology is anything invented after you were born. I've never given this laptop to anyone under 6 who even asked what it was. They were just like, wow, that's awesome. Can I have it? How long do I have it? My brother, he's too old. I'm going to take it away from him. And then they get into fights about who can type their name faster. So awesome. Thank you.
Okay, I take 2. Anyway, thank you for participating. We'll have to end this now. We have the other lightning talks scheduled for today, tomorrow. Please tell the speakers to be here on time, and hopefully we will see you tomorrow again. Thank you for joining.